Right Buddy here from Backroad Buddies of Redtail Lodge. And the video we want to share with you today is about Zion National Park. Now this was back in October, and we were coming from the Needles district of Canyonlands National Park. And we took kind of a scenic route to get to Zion. So we kind of dipped down into Arizona and went by the Monument Valley and the little tip of Lake Powell, and then entered Zion National Park from the east side. Now when you're coming from the east, you have to go through Zion Mount Carmel Tunnel. Now there's height and length restrictions on that tunnel, and don't plan on being the fastest way to get to Zion, because they do allow vehicles that are kind of in this in-between size that they actually have to shut down the other direction of traffic. So there's a lot of times where you have to sit there and wait for a larger vehicle to come through from the other direction. So don't plan on zipping through there quickly. So you actually go through Zion National Park to get to the town of Springdale, which is just outside the south entrance to the park. And that's where our campsite was for the first night, in Zion Canyon RV Park and Resort, I think it's called. And it's right outside the south entrance to the park. So it was very convenient. We were there for one night, and so we had to drive through the park to get there. So that was a pretty drive. And we went out to dinner right across the street at a place called Spotted Dog Cafe. Very good food. We really recommend that one. But it was so convenient because it was right across the street. And then the first full day there, we actually had to switch campsites. We were over then for 2 nights in Watchman Campground, which is inside the national park. And it's really hard to get into, which is why we only had 2 nights there. And we had 2 different sites there too. So then the first full day, we actually hopped on our bikes and rode our bikes down the whole length of Zion Canyon. So we really recommend that as the best way to see Zion Canyon. They don't allow private vehicles down Zion Canyon. So the only way to go down there is either by bike or by shuttle bus. And because of COVID, and I don't know if they're going to continue that, you actually have to have tickets to get on the Zion shuttle, at least from the entrance. Once you're in the park, then you can hop on the shuttle, but to get on the initial one, you get like a little timed entry, a 1-hour window to get on the shuttle bus. So we didn't have tickets for the first day, but we rode our bikes, and that's really the better way to see it, because you can stop whenever you want and take in the views or take pictures. And so we really recommend that. And it's a pretty level drive, and you actually have to stop and let the shuttle buses go by, because they won't pass you while you are cycling. So it's a really safe place to bike. And we went all the way down to the end, and at the end there's a short little river walk trail that takes you along the Virgin River there and takes you to the entrance to what's known as the Narrows, where you can kind of wade through the river part and go up the river in these narrow slot canyon, and it's supposed to be just spectacular. We have not done that yet, and we debated about, at least I debated about doing it this time, but there was a bacteria bloom in the river, so they were not recommending going in the water, although it didn't seem to stop a lot of people. A lot of people were going anyway, but we decided not to take the risk. And then the second day, we actually had a shuttle permit at noon, and we decided to go on a hike that day. And so we took the shuttle all the way to, I think it's called the Grotto, and that's where the Angel's Landing Trail starts. Well, it starts out being called the West Rim Trail, and it takes you up a pretty steep trail, about 2 miles. And then there's this, what's known as the chain section of Angel's Landing, that actually takes you out to this kind of little point out into the canyon that's called Angel's Landing. And it somewhat has a reputation of being one of the deadliest trails in the national parks. There's signs posted everywhere that 10 people have fallen off and died at Angel's Landing since 2004. And unfortunately, since then, since October, and this is now April, there's been 3 more deaths on that trail. So we hadn't decided yet whether we were going to do that or not, so we hiked up the 2 miles, and there's some nice views from there too, I think it's called Scouts Lookout. And the West Rim Trail actually continues along the rim, but Angel's Landing goes out on this chain section for half a mile, and we weren't going to make the decision till we got up there and looked at it, because we're not real high risk takers. I know it's hard to believe, but so we got up there and it didn't quite look as scary as everybody made it out to be. And I think the most dangerous part about it is if you trip or slip and fall, game's over, right? It's steep drop-offs, so you have to pay attention to what you're doing. But we actually decided to do it, so we actually went out there. It took us 45 minutes to do that half mile out to the landing, and then 45 minutes to get back. And we're glad we did it. We really felt like we accomplished something, but it was actually much more strenuous and physically demanding than we thought it was going to be. So it was a pretty tiring hike, even though the whole hike itself is less than 5 miles. It's a good workout, a full body workout. And there's just some really spectacular views once you get out there on the landing. So that was pretty much it for that day. And we went back and ate out for dinner at the brew pub right there at the south entrance to the park because we didn't want to walk very far. So that was nice and relaxing there. And then actually on the day we left, we were heading back towards the Moab, but we kind of left Springdale heading west and went up, I think it's I-15. And there's actually a north section of Zion that not many people go to that we actually got off of I-15. It's called Kolob Canyons. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and the 2-wheel drive road isn't very long. It goes out to a little picnic area, and there's a short little hike to an overlook. But it's a nice little scenic drive, and if you happen to be going up I-15, it's a nice little stop. So I would recommend doing that. But actually, I think most of the people that go to Kolob Canyons, there's a lot of, I believe, 4-wheel drive roads and a lot of backpacking up there. And there's no crowds, there's no people. So that makes it even better. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Zion National Park.
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
I think the rest
I was last in our team. You last year.
You guys from?
Ukraine.
Ukraine? Do they have one of these in Ukraine?
We have mountains, but perpetual mountains.
Well, thanks for watching. And if you want more details about our stay, there's a link in the description below to our related blog post, so check that out. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. Ta-ta for now.